didn't know if I was going to be able to see. I went through about 5 different eye surgeries. And a student and a good friend, which you might know, Ralph, uh, he says, hey man, I want to just, maybe it was just trying to give a little kindness, and he bought me this guitar. And I couldn't believe that he did that. I was like, oh my God. So I was really touched by it. And at the time, I was working with Schecter Guitars, and but I told him, I was like, this guitar I've been wanting for a long time. I used to play it, the same type of model, the S series, back in college. But then I got into Schecter guitars for a long time, and then I made my way back, which I'm pretty happy to be with Schecter. I'm sorry, Ibanez. So what happened was at the NAMM show, I ran into one of my old students, Jason Richardson, and he also helped facilitate the endorsement as well. So, yeah. That's my story there.
You converted some of us.
Yes, I see guys holding Ibanez guitars just before. But yes, Schecter were great guitars, but Ibanez is by far more consistent. I was just holding their guitar and fantastic. Feels the same consistency. I love the flat neck, and for this really technical playing, it makes it really, really quite accessible. So I'm going to play another song, and then I'm going to take a few questions. And then I'll talk about those handouts, and I also will talk about rev amps. You're right, wearing the correct shirt there. So a band that I haven't used this particular model was a band called Heaven's Edge. And I usually always play the neoclassical stuff at my performances. I thought it'd be kind of cool for this event to play a little Heaven's Edge. And he was, of course, the guy in the band, Reggie Wu, was an endorsee. Back in the day, back in the Stone Age. questions on the guitar stuff? Questions are good. Anything's fine.
String gauge.
I just use nines. Yeah, I practice so much on acoustic guitar that, you know, this is, if I want more bass out of the string, I'll just turn up the bass out. I got nothing to prove with the string gauge, but nines are really good. Yeah. I've used tens, but the nines are definitely, feels good.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I play Ibanez bass.
Yes. Awesome.
That's mine. I need to learn rhythm, so I'm trying to write my own music.
Mhm.
Which model Ibanez would you suggest that I could start learning rhythm guitar and just something really basic? Because you got those beautiful long fingers, I got little stubby mittens.
You know,
But I love the action on the Ibanez basses.
Yeah.
The action, does it go over to the guitars as well?
It is. See,
It's got a fast action and I love it.
yes.
It's like butter.
Well, that's the thing about Ibanez guitars in general. This is one of the things I'm so happy to reconnect with this particular neck. They're so flat. So if you're used to those vintage guitars with kind of the yeah, this is much more efficient for playing. Just getting your hands on it. You don't have to be a technical player. I mean,
I can do it on my bass, but
if I had to like recommend, I would say like you know, that guy right there.
the one on the end.
Yep.
That's
Triple
actually
550. Yeah.
that's actually EX3404.
Oh, there you go. That's what I would recommend.
Okay.
You know,
Thank you.
I mean, but all of them are gonna do the job. You know, so actually, yeah, actually,
That
yeah.
color. Oh, I know. I love my bass.
You better try one when you're from the facility. So, wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna embarrass myself with all these great ones.
So, anybody have any other questions? Any cool questions? Cool happening questions?
Do you like the, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you like the thinness of the trifold system?
That's the thing. So with this kind of body, this because before I was playing Strats, and to go back to this, like I had this like in college, this same type of stuff, which feels so comfortable. Like you could just,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I actually own one of those, but mine is a very old model, I guess, and it needs a lot of work. But I was just curious how you felt about it. Like,
Yeah, it is. Like I said, you can manipulate it so easily by turning it around. I can.
yeah.
It's perfectly balanced. You know, so it's really good for the. Yeah, this S series, so. Or the Prestige S series as well. Any other cool happening questions?
Do you have like I don't know, I'm kind of a gear nerd. Like,
Yeah.
do you have like a preference on like pickups, like brands that you like work like in your guitars?
Yeah.
That you like?
So I'm really obsessed with the DiMarzio pickups right now.
Okay.
And these right here are two DiMarzio double whammies, which is kind of a vintage pickup, but I was a little bit late to trying it. I didn't try these out until like a couple of years ago, and they were made in the 80s. So I loved them, and then I've ripped all the other pickups out of the guitar to put these in.
You mess with actives at all? You stay away from them now?
Yeah, I felt like it was doing all the work. You know, I like to. I don't know. It was a little too easy to play, but I like these pickups a lot. Yeah, and I also disconnect my tone knob as well. I like to just have the pickups go direct.
Right.
As much of a clear signal as possible.
Matt, with the improvisation, what's your approach when you're arpeggiating? Do you have a particular approach, or not formula, but you get the idea.
Yeah, definitely.
A mindset.
Awesome question. So when it comes to improvising, I try to target the chord tones that are in the progression. So I'll rely a lot on seventh arpeggios to play a lot of my improv. I'll just phrase around that. I'll use the scale tones and the target like specific notes in the chord, like the minor 7 or the major 7. Very much in that kind of jazzy kind of way.
So now let's hear Frank Gambale. How would he do it? Paul Gilbert.
I'll get to that. I'll get to that. It's on the sheet, yeah.
It's a-
Well, actually, no.
impressions.
That is a good question. Now, Paul would do it. He would do that same shape like this, actually. I like that question. Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what's on that sheet. Unless you guys have another question or any more happening questions before? Any crazy theory questions? How do you play a major 7 flat 5 arpeggio or something? No questions?
What about pickup selection? The one thing I like, that was surprising about Ibanez is, at least with this one, is that you pretty much can get any sound. You can enjoy. I like how they have the pickup selection.
You know, I will say this, like, I'm pretty much front or back when it comes to electric playing. Unless I'm playing like a clean chorusy kind of thing, then I'll do the split between the front pickup and the middle. But this one, I literally just go front to back when I'm playing distortion. I like it all or nothing.
Hey man, if you allow me, I'd like to thank you, because actually, remember when I was hitting you up left and right about trying to find an Ibanez, I kept finding these ones that beat the craps. And you knew what I was looking for, and you found that one for me. That thing's awesome.
Oh,
That one
awesome, man.
You sent me that link, and I'm like, where'd you find it? It's like poof magic.
I appreciate you saying
So
that.
thank you.
No, I really appreciate it. I gotta say, when my student reintroduced me to these guitars, that was it for me after that. So anybody that follows me on social media, they can see the progression of how my old guitars disappeared, and these were in the picture. So, yep, but yeah, the double whammies is preferable. But I'm open to trying other ones too, but these I just so in love with, because they have the heaviest mid-range of any DiMarzio pickup, ever. Seriously, if you do like a little, like DiMarzio's site has a thing where it tells you how much EQ for each of the frequencies. These rated the highest for mid-range. So, there's actually a lot of people think my amp, like they think my mid knob's all the way on 10, and it's not. I'm getting all that mid from the pickup itself, you know. Yeah, mid-range is a frequency that's really good for cutting through over chords. So, any other cool happening questions? Actually, thinking about the Frank Gambale thing, I play my 7th arpeggios just like him as far as picking goes. So that's a really good question. So yeah, they're going to. I pick every note of the arpeggio. There's no pull-offs through. No pickups. So.
And that's what Frank is known for doing.
Yep. Well, yeah, because when he plays the sweep picking thing, and by the way, he's also a guy that started out using this particular S series.
Yeah.
And I really, actually, that was actually another guy that made me want to buy an Ibanez 540 like this one is. Frank Gambale. Picks every note. Yeah. Always picking every note of the arpeggio. All right. I guess I should talk a little bit about what's on that sheet there. So the first example is one of my favorite techniques, which is called pedal point, and this one I use so much. So the idea is you're breaking up the shapes of the scales and arpeggios by always returning to a particular pedal note. And now without the pedal point, it sounds like this. It's just like it's just arpeggios, but basically breaking up the arpeggio by always pedaling off a note. You guys know this stuff, right? I know Zach knows this stuff. So, does that look familiar, Zach? So,
I was practicing before I came here.
yeah, there you go. Awesome. Yeah, so that's a pedal point. It's probably the technique in recent years I use probably the most, because I love the way it sounds. Big a fan of Vinnie Moore, so I like to emulate that kind of sound. Any questions on the pedal point examples there?
Yeah, but thank you, I learned something.
That's good. You got a sheet though, right?
I didn't know how to name to it.
Did you get a sheet?
No, I
Yes, there's one right there.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
No, but I understand when you're going to pedal point, I was like, that's what it's called.
That's what it's called. Yeah, it's the first example on the sheet there. And I'm pedal pointing off of arpeggios in that example. So, so yeah, you can take any arpeggio shape, like. Another guy that uses that quite a bit is Eric Johnson, which I'm sure you guys have heard that before. Yes.
But Eric actually does he'll do hybrid picking too, instead of cross, but he'll use his middle finger.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, after
a little bit.
Yeah, I was about to ask, have you tried like incorporating that with this technique, like the
You know,
hybrid stuff?
with distortion, I found that it took 1,000 times more work to clean it up,
Yeah.
and a lot of my training in college was playing Al Di Meola's type of picking style on the acoustic guitar, and Al picks every note regardless if it's
Yeah.
a super wide distance there. Like, I'll give you the most ridiculous example of this thing right here. So, I don't use any, there's no excuse to use the hybrid picking just because the pick can reach it.
And that's a good point, like,
Yeah.
most of the guys you see doing it now, it's in a clean, usually a clean or a real compressed clean setting, it's very rarely like distortion.
Right, but that all came from like hundreds of hours on the acoustic steel string, because that's what Di Meola did, or John McLaughlin, all the 70s guys, and they didn't do that hybrid picking, because everything was done with the plectrum,
Right,
so. Good question about hybrid picking, feels good.
I instigated it.
Yeah, no, I was you started it.
Why do I believe?
So you guys, any other questions about the pedal points stuff?
So, in the pedal points, you said you break up the arpeggios. Do you focus on like specific portions of the arpeggio, like the notes of it, to like bring out like the tone in the song?
Yeah, yes, the root, the third, and the fifth, and I try to stay only one octave, not going under octaves. So I definitely do the whole. Always,
What's your anchor note? Which one's anchoring note?
the note I'm anchoring off is the root note, which is the A.
Okay.
For that particular shape, that's if it was a root shape, but if it's an inversion, I'm gonna do it off the inversion.
Okay.
So which would be like this guy's inversion. I'm anchoring off the E. So yeah, be going all the inversions. That's, I mean, everybody knows that idea going like that. Actually, I'll play a bit more example, actually. Yeah. I'll probably be playing a cover of that soon. But any other cool questions before I talk about the next thing on the sheet there?
How do you know when to break up, get little breaks when you're playing? Is it somehow you can sense that you're about to make people wet their pants?
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a good question about where to lead off on. I try to start a phrase on a downbeat of the kick drum. So that way, that gives me if the chord change changes and I hear that kick drum, then I know that that's where I want to go, like go to the next point. But it might have been a silly question, but it's actually a serious question.
No,
It's a good question.
I painted you. You know me, but.
Any other cool thing before I talk about the next thing on the sheet? You guys are like, yeah, I know this stuff, yeah. Right? So, the next example is, I think I actually just touched on this earlier, is seventh arpeggios. So I'd love to use seventh
Actually,
arpeggio.
Matt, with fingering, doing the arpeggios, to keep yourself mobile, ascending, descending, what's a good tactic for you?
Well, the thing that,
Say like a trip over, it's like tripping over your feet.
yeah, well, actually, the thing I definitely started years and years ago, probably like 30 years ago. But my students that are, like Jason Richardson, are like, they've capitalized on this, but not barring the arpeggio. No barring ever. So even like that infamous A form that everybody always does this with that shape. You guys familiar with the A form shape? Yeah, so so no barring with maybe the exception of one shape, that's it. Because that allows for a better rhythm, so. So that, because in the barring thing, you can't really feel the downbeat when the finger hits the string. So that's something I've eliminated almost entirely, is the barring method.
What about how hard you're hitting this string?
Hard as I can.
Yeah, piano key almost. Yeah.
Yep. I try to warm up on the acoustic in order to do all that, so. Yep. Also, it helps to have a fresh set of strings, too. That helps a lot with the tone. So. These are awesome questions. This is like the coolest clinic ever. Any other cool happening questions? Nope. I'll just go to the next example is.
Certain arpeggio, or any of them,
What's that?
any of them, with arpeggios, so we've got time signatures, weird time signatures, like, 6/8. Is there any kind of
Strategy?
approach? Yeah, strategy.
That's a good question.
I mean, well, actually, that is a good question with in reference to that. So what I
Because you know what I'm talking about, like when you're playing with somebody changes up on you, all of a sudden it throws off, like you said, the downbeat, okay?
yeah,
So
Well,
time signatures are gonna change.
it does. Typically, I try to follow like with the 6/8 feel. I try to do like more of a triplet thing.
Okay.
So if I'm doing this kind of like triplet. So because that's what typically what the drummers are doing at 6/8 time.
It's stuff we do instinctively, I was just wondering, voiced, you know, like what your thoughts are.
My thought is just to go and then but I will superimpose large groupings of notes on the downbeat of those triplets. So it's like I'll still do the craziness that I do. Even at 6/8 timing, I'm still thinking about just the downbeat and what kind
I
of
was
feel
thinking
it is.
it's like kind of like Frank Zappa,
Oh, you're
how they
like,
do this weird time signatures.
You know, I,
You don't really pick it up, but somehow in the back of your mind.
I'm just following the kick drum at that point, you know, so like seriously, like it doesn't matter to me if they're gonna go from 6/8 to 4/4 to 5/4, I'm just thinking about the kick drum at that point. So that way when I'm doing those rhythmic groupings, it's all, you know, just trying to follow the downbeat.
Thank you.
That's some really, really awesome questions. I appreciate that. Any other cool questions about stuff before I jump to that handout there? No? So, yeah, so the next example is the arpeggios that I use. I already talked about that a little bit. I use 7th arpeggios. Are you guys familiar with the 7th arpeggios idea? Well, what it is an arpeggio I'm playing is 3 notes typically, which is root, 3rd, and 5th of a scale. So, and then what I do is I add the other note in the scale, which is root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. So,
Okay.
guitar nerd stuff.
No, that's good to know.
Yes.
That's it.
So, like, this is a typical arpeggio that I would play like an A minor. I'm going to add the 7 to it. I'm going to add the G to that. Now, some people say it's really kind of a jazzy sound, but the first time I actually heard it in a actual song, it's going to be, I'll make reference to Paul Gilbert again. I heard it on the song "Gone Too Far" from Racer X.
Oh,
He plays
yeah.
this giant, like, major 7 arpeggio, and I was like, what is that? You know, the 16-year-old me was like, I gotta learn that. So, of course, there's his guitar. So yeah, I think the example he was playing, if I can play it correctly here. Something like that, yeah. It's all a major 7th arpeggio. And so, once again, I'm adding one more note to a 3-note arpeggio.
Cool.
You guys staying awake for the theory part?
I'm sorry. I'm learning this part.
Yeah.
This is epic.
So I'm going as opposed to, which is still useful to play the triads. The 7th sounds a little bit more, I don't know, just interesting in my ear. So that's what the arpeggios examples are on there.
Thank you.
You could try those. And of course, on the next part of the sheet there is another technique I use a lot. And this one I got from Tony McAlpine. And this one is the sweep tap, which everybody has seen probably before. The whole idea of going. Instead of reaching for the note, I'm tapping it.
Yeah.
And which is kind of that Van Halen. That technique I've also really embraced a lot more in recent years. So very, very cool to do a lot of percussive things with that. So I'll give this example. Someone was asking about this one. Fast version of Canon in D. So,
That's a better version of the wedding song.
It's on a budget. Let's do it quick.
That's like 40 songs.
so yeah,
You gotta get that out quick.
that was where I learned the technique. And actually with that particular song, of applying the extension there. It's a good technique. I always use that in my improv. So
That's pretty cool. I like that.
you can also do a thing where you slide it too. Yeah, so like for that kind of stuff, you really do need a very very flat neck. So it's
I
very
wish I had
visual.
bigger hands too.
You can do it.
It's
yes.
intimidating watching
Try to
you.
soften your eyes, got small hands.
I met Steve Stevens, and his hand's probably about as big as mine. Yeah, yeah. And I went, well, if he can do it, I can learn it. But I don't know if I can play like Matt. That's, getting that style down. But I like the picking, sweeping and the picking and the.
It's all about playing slow first. Yeah. So seriously, all this stuff, even though it looks really crazy, a lot of it I've just nothing's played fast until it's clean.
Gotcha.
So always, so I don't like force it out of my hands.
And play acoustic first.
Yeah,
Makes
you
that
picked up
trick
on that.
easier.
Yes,
I
that is
know
it.
I've been beaten over the head with that. Steve Stevens actually said the same
Yep.
exact thing.
You gotta train on the acoustic to get your hands strong, and picking hand as well. Yes. So I'm looking on there now. This is the string skipping part of the sheet here, and this one, the example I have on there, which I have to remember which one it is. It's gonna be this guy right here. That one, I'm just string skipping the scale shape right there. This technique is essential if you want to pick really well. And then, of course, the last one on the sheet is called cross picking. And cross picking is literally, I'm doing one note per string and I'm alternating every single time. And this is probably all the techniques are built on that last one. So that one is, anybody that's taken lessons with me, how much I talk about cross picking. So, give an example of what that sounds like. So that one is probably every technique rests on that one because it's always alternating eighth note triplets. Yeah, sounds like a drum rudiment if you play it right. Okay, and that's the sheet. That's an example, a few examples of my playing, and I neglected to talk about the amp here. So yes, so this amp, this is the Rev amp, and I just became an artist with them as well. And this particular amp is very like multifunctional. It has an alert system on the back when a tube goes out. You can, yes.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure at a gig I did, I think the guy mishandled my amp and I already had to get a tube replaced.
So it's an audio, it's an audible?
What happens is I went to plug in my amp and it wasn't working, and then I looked in the back and there was an actual red light telling me which tube was out. So I was like, yeah. Might have been a gig in Fredericksburg.
So there's an LED light that lights up, that lets you know.
Yep, exactly, yeah,
You got
so.
an extra tube or is it a backup?
Well, this was actually, I went to teach a lesson and it went out, so I was pretty upset during that particular lesson. But yeah, this is the amp I'm using, and it has an incredible mid-range, which is essential for playing this type of stuff you're hearing me play. It's very smooth sounding, and it's the 50 watt. Sounds more 80s, that's why I like it.
Yes. I'm listening to Bob and listening to.
Yeah, I
I'm here earning right.
Yeah, I don't hide my influences, you know, like, in the early 90s, you had to be like, oh, no, I don't like the 80s. It's like, that's how the early 90s was, but no, I never said that one.
Nobody, not.
But a lot of people I knew that did, but things are much better now. Because people actually.
We were spoiled. We had 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yes.
We were born in that very cool time. We had so
Yeah.
many influences on, it didn't matter if it was guitar, bass,
Yes.
drums, keys, singing.
Exactly, and
We were spoiled rotten.
yes, definitely. And but the 2000s, it's cool to be technical again, which is great. You got the guys like from Lithia, you know, everybody's out there still ripping it up, which is so much better, in my opinion, than say 1994. So.
Yeah, I was kind of scared, like, there was a lot of cheese back then.
Studio guys, well, just put this cord in here. Oh, you gotta get.
There you go.
Actually, this is I heard this from. I'm not gonna say who it was, but a lot of guys in the early '90s had to dumb down their skills because if they played too well, they would admit their metal chops that they got from say GIT or something. So they hold the guitar down lower, wore flannel. It's a dark time.
It was horrible. It was not
Things are
pretty.
so much better now. So
Yes.
much better era for guitar. People were excited about it. So
Are you a purple channel or a red channel guy?
well, that's only in purple.
Only
The 50
purple?
watt. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That one, the red was just like that was a little too much.
It's got a little bit of hair to it, yeah.
Yeah, this was smooth. I liked more of
Yeah.
a smoother tone. Felt much more for what I do.
Have you tried any of the pedal, latest pedals?
I actually have the purple pedal with me, and I brought it just in case something, God forbid, the purple channel of the Rev amp they have their own pedal. So.
I think that's my favorite channel on the generator too. It just, yeah, it's real smooth.
Yeah, I don't do much, death metal, so, or thrash metal, so this is perfect. This is, cause I like a singing tone, a much smoother tone, so.
How many channels are
Well, it just has the clean channel, and then, yeah, basically by color, it goes blue, which is clean, and then the next one's green, which is like an AC/DC kind of thing, and then I go again, over here, it's purple. And it's built-in noise gate as well.
So if you're playing thrash, so, you know, which one would you use?
Well, then I would probably, get the G, was it the G120?
See, I'm quizzing you, making your.
Yes, no,
making it work.
I played this at the NAMM show, and I couldn't leave the booth. Actually, they were probably happy when I left the booth, that's how much I played there. But no, they were happy, because I love that amp, so they gave me an artist. That is the one.
I like it.
Actually, I didn't even know about it until I got to the booth at NAMM. I was like, seriously, because a lot of people think I had my mind set to go over to the Rev booth. I walked over there, and I was expecting like to play the 120, but they had the 150, or the G50, and that was their debut at the show, and it's awesome.
Did you?
So everybody today is gonna walk out with an Ibanez and a Rev amp, right? Yes.
No keychain?
Maybe have it as a pedal.
You know,
Bumper sticker.
Did you stickers use,
Got stickers
mess with your
and
tube
a lesson
combination when
sheet.
you got it set up at all, or did you just take like their stock to set up with the tubes?
I just used what they had in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm picky with tone, but I'm not too picky. I just thought it sounded great. I just plugged in and I was like,
That's it.
that's
That's
it,
what I
yeah,
like
cause,
now.
and I think the biggest compliment I get on this amp, when I post a video to Instagram, everybody says, are you using an overdrive pedal? That's the distortion right there on that amp, so. There is no overdrive
So
pedal.
it's cost effective as well.
Yeah, you know,
Another key point,
if I'm at a gig, I don't wanna be like, you know,
where you have the pedal back,
yeah,
yeah.
I keep it pretty simple.
You said that's a 50 watt, right?
Yep,
And what's the approximate range of that particular model?
the price?
Price, price-wise.
Actually, I really don't know. They gave me this one, so I don't know what it usually costs.
One,
wondering what-
yeah.
one thing I like about Rev is for no extra money, you can, if you don't want black, I know black is cool, but you can pretty much choose any aesthetic change, and make it your own, it's the same price.
That's pretty cool.
Mine's
Yep.
purple.
Nowadays, they charge you for anything and everything, Lindsay. That's a good selling point.
It is kinda neat, yeah.
Yeah, so I like I said, when I first started out, I had a yellow Ibanez S-Series, like just like this, and I plugged in at the show, and that was it. It
Yeah,
sold
like-
me quickly, yeah.
I like the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid.
Yep. I do use the clean channel occasionally.
Occasionally.
Occasionally, yeah. So. So it's a really good.
Feels like somebody should be bringing us drinks or something. It's weird to hear you play clean.
I do though, I do, yeah.
Oh,
So,
I know, just,
Maybe a martini or something like that, or?
yeah, shake it, not stir it or something, you know.
but yeah, it's you can get more aggressive with it by just pushing the the knob there. But I use the first one. I don't use the heaviest one. Any more questions? I'm gonna play some more songs. So, any
It's
cool-
flying, shred, go.
You still play the first song you ever wrote?
That would make people clear the room. I don't think.
Well, you didn't go back and refine it?
Okay, I'm gonna play a Benny Moore cover here. Thank you. I'm gonna play, this one, I gotta play this song. I had friends friends of mine when I was younger saying, "You will never play that kind of music at a gig." And this is an old one. I'm gonna pay tribute to a guitar player by the name of Joey DeFoya. And so yes, now I'm gonna play this song live because someone said back in high school I never played it. So here it is.
Showed him.
Actually, I also played that song on acoustic guitar at a bunch of acoustic gigs. And in my mind, in the background, I was like, you know, it might sound a little petty, but I was like, yeah. So, any other cool questions? You guys had some killer questions today, by the way.
You gotta earn that iPad.
So did I make anybody really gonna walk out the store with that is?
Well, I'm looking. Christmas is coming up.
There you go. The purple
I
one
see
is
what I
called.
want, yeah. It's got everything on it I want too.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, like, you know, having that configuration, I love the hum, single hum.
Okay.
I feel like it's the best of both worlds, you know? But, yeah, I love having a humbucker really close to the neck. No cool questions about Ibanez or anything before I play another song too? Can't hear me?
It's playing.
How about,
We're all getting spoiled here.
how about amp questions or? Oh, and, yeah, you know what, I don't know if the store carries this, but Lizard Spit guitar polish. Yeah, no, it is definitely guitar polish. Yeah. Made from natural ingredients, so.
You said the green is slightly overdriven?
Yes, yeah, it is definitely, if you want that kind of AC/DC kind of
So
sound.
they have pedals with different colors?
They do, they actually do, yeah, actually, Keith, the owner of this store, he sells all the pedals, yeah. I just bought the purple pedal in case this ever happens to go down.
You always have to have backup regardless, just, you never know.
Yeah, you never know, yeah.
That's just smart.
Have you used the tilt yet?
I didn't, like, when I was at the NAMM show, I clicked off of it, I didn't want any of the,
Yeah.
extra. I just wanted the,
The amp in it, yeah.
that's it, I was really kind of a purist about it. I do use a reverb pedal, and they had that at the show, a certain type of reverb pedal, I forget what it was, but, now the amp, it's great. Yes,
Do we hear some power chords on the green channel?
oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know
Derek has
if
some
I've
power
set it
chords.
though, that's the only thing, so let's see. I don't know if I've set the green channel. Man,
Sorry about that.
no, it's okay,
Anyway, I'll get a lesson on how to set up a chance.
you know, oh, right there, yeah.
Positive, yeah, look at positives.
You got a wide range of tones.
I like it. How heavy is it? Is it relatively light?
It's
Comparable to a Marshall head.
Yeah,
An old school Marshall head.
you know, the transformer in this is pretty big, but it doesn't, it's,
Yeah, it doesn't look as
no.
beefy or as heavy and awkward.
No. I've used it on a bunch of gigs since I was
31 pounds.
That's not bad.
It's on the phone. But now you guys have been cool. Any other questions about even Ibanez guitars? Or, I think I've already talked about how much I love these
Well, I
things.
think we're all sold on Ibanez.
Yes, yeah. You guys are holding them for God's sake.
Was it my position first, or was it five position?
What's that?
Toggle, it's five position toggle or quarter? Yeah, I'm not sure I was at the bridge or bridge or neck. You ever do all three jazz?
I just go, that's it, front and back.
I never play mids.
Nah,
Cause I never, my opinion, thank you for that.
You weren't.
So anyways, she's walking home by us. We got a song going. Forgot I heard. No, I can never make it sound good because I'm in the middle position. The only reason I say it's because the 8-string question I asked you one time.
oh, you know,
Everybody says, oh, you can't play an 8-string this way, and you've proved them wrong.
yeah,
It's coming at your upcoming vocals, you can suck it.
well,
Like
it's,
Matt Mills.
well, what it is with the middle pickup, I mean, I think it's all about how you dial your
Second
pick.
act one just sounds great. When I got that out of this, I said, no, it's
Yeah, for my style, that's, the neck is where
pretty
it's at.
it's righteous.
It's perfect, yep. But,
What year is that?
this is an older one, right? But it's pretty much just like a Prestige S series anyways. Yeah, this is a 540.
So can you, like, today, can you still get a 540 or are they not making?
The closest thing you would get to this is like a Prestige S series, or S
Okay,
series
I see what you're
Prestige.
saying.
The guys from Ibanez can clarify that one, yeah.
Really nice S1070, I think, is kind of like the current version of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
from the owner himself. Yes. But, yeah, and I've played the newer ones as well. They feel exactly the same, so yeah.
Will you guys ever come back with the USA custom graphic ones? Not like. No?
Probably not.
There's a company called Insane Skins on Instagram. Please check them out.
Okay.
They will wrap your guitar, and then you have to clear coat it, and then yeah. So, I remember those back in the day in high
Yeah.
school. So
I still have one.
also,
What's his name? Bill Lawrence, I think was the artist.
yeah.
Dan Lawrence.
What's his name?
Dan Lawrence.
Dan Lawrence, yeah.
Well, if you guys don't have any questions, other questions, I'm gonna play one more song. I'm gonna play another cover, Green Sleeves. Well, actually, Canon and D is far as I'm gonna play kind of a tribute to Tony McAlpine, a song called Wheel of Fortune. So. I'd like to thank Ibanez Guitars, Rev Amps, and Keith Grosso for making this happen. And you guys, I appreciate you guys witnessing this coming out. And I'll have questions after. So maybe I'll just end it with a little solo here real quick. If you haven't heard enough soloing already, right? So,
Never gets old, don't worry.
no, I really appreciate you guys coming. It means a lot.